don't know why I couldn't. Sorry about that. We are here. We're live. If you missed the live reading before of me reading the first chapter, I did upload that to Instagram in the IGTV, and it's kind of long, but there it is. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and knife, cake, cut, and it's buttercream icing, which is one of my favorites. A little plate here, and I'm gonna go ahead and put this on here. Okay, so like I said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot them my way, and I will be happy to answer them. And like I said, just kind of hang out with you guys and eat cake. It's my book's birthday, and I'll eat cake if I want to. So let's see. That's really good. It's a white cake. With buttercream icing. Yeah, it's really good. Sweet. I usually don't eat cake, but it's good. And we have a question from Robbie here. Who was your favorite character to write for in THORUNN? So definitely Bo, who is represented actually on the back of the book by the paw print. As I thought the book should have, for the front cover, the main two characters, but Bo is really special, so he had to have a place in there as well. So definitely Bo. He's just so prickly, sarcastic, but also fierce and loyal. So I definitely loved writing for him because, I mean, just there were certain characters, when I put Bo together with those characters, just like sparks are flying, and a lot of what happened in the book is because Lane and Bo decided to go wildly off script and do what they wanted to do, and I listen to them. I'm a pantser, so my characters tell me the story. Really good cake. But the food coloring is very strong. It's American food for you. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna just pull up my Twitter here and kind of recap a couple other questions that I got to answer for book party chat, which there's extra pictures and stuff on Twitter there. Let's see. All right, I just gotta pull this back all the way till I get to where I'm going. Almost there. Okay. So book party chat. Book party chat is this this really neat Twitter account event that was started because I think because of Corona, because a lot of people had to cancel their in-person events, me included. I was definitely gonna have an in-person book launch, and I'm still gonna have it. Okay, that's not gonna stop me. I'm gonna have it when restrictions are lifted, of course, when it's safe to gather in groups, but I want to sign books for people. I want to take pictures with fans, so definitely want to make sure that I'm having that book launch party. I have a venue, and it's easy to, anytime I can figure out whatever time works for them works for me. So I will let you guys know when I'm able to actually have it. It'll be like a post-quarantine book launch party, post-book launch party, I guess. But there'll be book signings, and I'll be in costume again with my, I'll show you. I don't know if they'll let me bring this prop, because, I mean, it's a cool prop. I mean, it does nothing but optics, But if they let me bring this prop, I'll bring it, because this is, I think, one of the things that makes the costume. But let's see. So the first question was, what was THORUNN about? So I'm recapping book launch party here. And I just put it in some really simple terms. 2 teens get caught up in a shady government conspiracy, which I'm just realizing I spelled government wrong. I was tweeting really quickly. and have to figure out how to fight back before it's too late. There's also aliens and futuristic tech galore, and a bit of heartbreak too. And thank you. Yes, this is when I just said the futuristic tech galore. In the book, they have these types of weapons called souls. And I think I only used the word gun one time to describe a netting gun. I was trying to challenge myself to see if I could get away from the word gun. And that is just particularly because I'm in a fantasy, well, sci-fi setting. It's like, can I be more, what's the word, more creative with it? So I was able to, I like to do cosplay, and I was able to take the paints that I have and repurpose a little, I think it's like a kid's Xbox toy, and make it a really cool prop, because the souls come in all shapes and sizes in the book. You have like hand souls, you have big soul cannons, some of them are mounted on versicles, so I thought it would be neat to kind of do that. I think, speaking of cosplay, right now I'm trying to cosplay Lachelle Michaels, who I'm putting more pictures on the Instagram. Of course, she has blue hair in the book, but I don't have like a blue wig. I will want to get one at some point, but I'll just, in pictures, Photoshop my hair. All right, let's see here. Then another question was, what inspired me to write THORUNN? And I answered a little bit of everything, because that's true, I take inspiration from everywhere. But I put my 3 main sources of inspiration were my brothers, the Amazon rainforest, and Edgar Rice Burroughs. And I talked about that a little bit, in my book reading session. But to recap, I have a couple brothers who I love dearly, and actually my one brother, shorturl.at, is the cover designer for my book. And let's look at it again. Great book. So I was really happy to work with him to get that done. And just, teenage boys. Hey, Josh. Teenage boys, the kind of shenanigans they get up to, being around them and their friends, it was really easy to draw on that well of inspiration for Lane and Kenton and Bo, because despite the fact that some of them are more rational than others, there's still sometimes they make decisions and they're just thinking heart first and not head first, and that's something that's often very common to teenage boys, and they kind of have to go through these coming of age experiences to figure out how to deal with things in an adult way. So let's see. Also, I said the rainforest, the Amazon rainforest, that was a pretty big inspiration, just kind of the idea of having the government going in and destroying resources that could be utilized a better way. And then, of course, I have here Edgar Rice Burroughs, who's one of my favorite sci-fi authors. I really like older sci-fi from like the 20s through to the 50s, but I also really like Michael Crichton as well, so I got a lot of those inspirations. And then let's see. Oh, well, thank you, Joshua, for the congratulations. I'm happy to have anyone who is able to jump on for even just for a couple minutes. So my reading of the first chapter is on Instagram Live, so you can check that out on IGTV. I already saved that. Okay, I have a, do you ever have dreams involving your plots? And for THORUNN, I didn't really have any dreams. It just kind of was in my head. But my first novel, which I have right here, that character, Tedenbarr, came to me in a dream, and I was like, I have to write his story. So he came to me in a dream, and then I wrote that. I have another one that came to me recently, just some kind of like post-apocalyptic fantasy setting. So, well, maybe sci-fi. Sometimes the line is so blurred between those two. And so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. All right, and then, oh, and I forgot to mention, this is 99 cents on Amazon right now in celebration of THORUNN being out today. Not the hardcover version, the ebook version. And I have, what sort of research did I do for this book? So that was pretty interesting. One of the characters in the book, it's Lane. Here he is. And you can see his little necklace he's wearing here, he's part Native American. So I was actually able to go down and visit the Pamunkey tribe in Virginia and speak to several people of that tribe there and get their feedback on how to write a Native American character who's just, living his life, but has things that are culturally important to him, like the types of food he might eat, the types of clothing, especially at like a more ceremonial event, or like just kind of the wider relationship with their family. And it's not a key point of the novel, but I just wanted to have some authenticity put in there. So that was definitely an interesting research trip that I took. I drove a long way to get there. A really long way to get down. They have a little museum down on the reservation for the Pamunkey Native American tribe. Let's see. I have another question here that says, do I have any writing rituals? Again, I'm recapping the book party chat. And so writing rituals, it's weird. I'm a pantser, so everything's kind of just like scattered all over the place. If I have a moment to write, like an hour or two of uninterrupted time, and I don't have anything else to do, I'll sit down and write. And I try to do it at least once a week, but it varies. It could be Monday, it could be Tuesday, it could be Friday. This week, I'm not really focusing on writing a novel, my new novel that I'm writing, because I'm focusing on THORUNN coming out. So as far as writing rituals, I always try to reread what I've written before, make sure I get in the headspace. I like to edit as I go because it really bothers me to see the stuff on the page when it's not edited correctly. So I do edit for like grammar and sometimes content as well, because it's just nice. It's like, when you're an artist, if you start off, you might not be able to draw so well, but the better you get, even your warm-up sketches look good. So I might as well make my writing warm-up sketches look good. I had another question on the book party chat, which was about my publication journey. Some of you may not know, but I'm actually indie published because I like the creative control that I have. It's a lot of work, that is for sure, just putting on everything myself, but at the same time, I like being involved in every aspect of the process. I like formatting the book myself. I like doing the editing. I really enjoy working with my cover designer to get the cover that I really wanted. Something that's probably difficult is, getting the word out, because as an indie, you don't have the same big budget that most major publishing houses have. There's a lot of things that publishing companies pay for that it runs thousands of dollars, and as an indie, I just don't really have access to those kind of resources. But thankfully, with social media, I can connect directly to all of you like I'm doing right now with Instagram Live, and that's definitely a way things have been changing that 10, 20, 30 years ago wouldn't have even been dreamed of. So let's see. Someone also had asked me which character do I least like writing, and I'd have to say Gordon. He's one of the antagonists. The other three antagonists, because there's like two major antagonists and then one that's kind of like, just the thorn in our hero's sides. The other three, I like writing them because sometimes it's fun to write the bad guys. But Gordon is he's an interesting antagonist. I don't want to spoil it for anyone that hasn't read it, but there's some things about his character that make me just go like, I don't like that man. I don't like that man. Well, let's see here. Someone said, what was the actual writing process like? So for me, it was very scattered. This book took a long time, and the current book I'm working on right now, I can see myself, if I can just consistently work on it every week, being finished by next year, at least with the first draft. But THORUNN took me several years because I started it while I was in college. So college took up a ton of my time. Plus I'm a musician. I was a music major in college. And when you're a music major in college, you literally have no time for anything else because your time that is free is practice time. So I don't know where I found the time to write THORUNN, but I was able to sneak it in between my music practice time. And then after I got out of college, I had a lot more time to sit down and be able to get it finished. Yeah, Gordon's definitely an unlikable character. I did want to kind of depict people in shades of gray, but some people are closer toward black than others. Okay. Someone said, do I listen to music when I write? Of course. And actually right now, just for a little background music, I am playing my Spotify THORUNN playlist that I curated. It doesn't have all the songs I listen to, but it has a good bit of them, and it's about an hour, almost an hour and a half of music that's a great soundtrack to the book. And so you can listen to it while you're reading the book, you can listen to it after. I think it's obvious who some of the songs are about, but not all of them. So one I don't think is super obvious is one of the characters, Lynn Antland. She's one of the antagonists, and my song for her is Paint It Black. Not the Rolling Stones version, the Ciara version. And Ciara she sings that song so well. I almost want to say she's wasted on pop music, because she just has this deep, smoky, a little bit raspy voice, and her cover of Paint It Black is so good. But Paint It Black, kind of the lyrics follow this guy who's like saying, I see everything and I feel black and the world is black because my love is gone. And just the way Ciara sings it, I'm like, well, I kind of get the vibe that he killed her, and that's why people can't look at him, and he has to turn his head so he's not tempted to kill more people. So it's amazing how changing tempo and slowing something down can really put a different spin on how it's interpreted. So for Lynn Antland, it's that's my song for her, because I feel like it can be interpreted in a very dark way, and her character is definitely very dark. Let's see. Challenges I faced in producing the book. Well, one of them was, again, being a musician. Sometimes I had to take really good care of my hands, and at one point, something happened. I overdid something, and my hands started to cramp up. And I still wear a brace now whenever I'm typing, because I don't want to lose the use of my hands when I'm playing, because writing's actually my second job. I'm a musician first and a writer second. But yeah, so the challenge, and I wrote THORUNN by hand. I had gotten far enough in it to the point where when I was putting it on the computer, I already had half of it written by hand, and I was going to lose my flow if I put it on the computer. So I wrote the entire first draft by hand, which I guess that makes me a little bit crazy. But when my hand was hurting really badly, that was not fun writing. I'll tell you that much. And Ellen Annalise on Twitter asked for book party chat. When did you first realize you wanted to be a writer? And we actually had a lady on the other live stream earlier who I dedicated my first book to. She's the one who encouraged me to write my stories down. Before then, they were all in my head, because I would just tell stories. But I didn't want to be a writer. And she said, your stories are good. You should write them down. I was like, I should. So I kind of credit that directly to her. Someone put, what GIF best sums up your book? And I put a GIF of Mirai Trunks from Dragon Ball Z. And if you finish reading the book, you will kind of get, if you look up Mirai Trunks, Super Saiyan, you'll get a bunch of really cool GIFs, especially in the super form with the blue stuff all around him. I don't want to give too much away, but Mirai Trunks kind of sums up the book for me with the lightning and stuff like that. So I was super into Dragon Ball Z when I was younger, so that's where my mind goes. And then Madeline Dyer, who also hosts the book party chat, had asked me, what's your favorite part of being a writer? And for me, again, I'm a pantser, so I just start writing and whatever happens, happens. So getting to see where my characters will take me is the most fun part for me, because I do make a very loose outline. You don't go to college for 4 years and not learn how to make outlines. But at the same time, I veer away from them quite quickly. I have if you've ever watched The Emperor's New Groove, there's a part in The Emperor's New Groove where Kronk pulls down a map, and Yzma asks him, how did they get there before us? And or how did we get there before them? And he goes, I don't know, by all accounts it doesn't make sense. And I say, my outline in my book, it's like me looking at my outline, trying to figure out where to go next. By all accounts, it doesn't make sense. So for me, when I'm revising, that's when I like put the puzzle pieces together a bit better. But I like doing puzzles, so let's see. Someone asked, what are you currently reading? Any books you'd recommend? And that is a good question. Right now, I'm reading The Sisters of Innisford, which is, I guess, a fantasy medieval story by Jessica Monahan. She has an Instagram account. It should pop right up if you search Jessica Monahan. I think I'm following her too, so if you search my followers, you can find her. Excuse me. I haven't gotten very far, but I'm liking what I'm hearing. It's slow to start, but I have to remind myself to just kind of sink into the world and enjoy it. And then that will pay off later. Spin the Dawn is another one I'm reading. Spin the Dawn was very much kind of all over the internet last year, and I finally got the chance to get it. Well, I think I got it when it came out, but then since I already had it, at one point Amazon offered me like an Audible credit for free, so I've been listening to it. And at first, I don't know if I was like really into the first person and the narrator, but listening to it, I'm used to it now. It's been described as Project Runway meets Mulan, and it's like 100% that. Like, not that I've specifically watched Project Runway, but I've watched other contests that are like Project Runway. There's one I really enjoyed called Face Off, where they did prosthetics and like props and stuff. That's some of where I learned techniques as to how to make my props. But it's also like Mulan, the fact that the girl disguises herself as a boy and it's in China and her family's honor and all that. I mean, like beat for beat, you could see like, oh, this is just Mulan with sewing. So a lot of it's very predictable in the first half of the book, but it's still really, really enjoyable. And I reached the end of the first half of the book, and now it's going off in a completely different direction. I think this is where the author is going to be more original. And the reason it's like Mulan is the author has written some like Mulan tales for the Disney company anyway, so I can understand where like she got all her inspiration from. Third book that I put that I'm really enjoying is Mirrorgate by Jeff Wheeler. And Jeff Wheeler, somehow I came across his books. I guess when I got Kindle, it was like recommended to me or something. It was like a free book because he's in Kindle Unlimited. He publishes with an Amazon imprint. But like, I don't know, I started reading his first book and they had like a free audiobook, and between last year and this year I've read 15 of his books, maybe 16 now. But he just creates these amazing trilogies with these characters and making decisions that normally other people would be like, well, it should be this decision or this decision, and they're gonna do this one. But like, the dilemmas he puts them in and the way he has them solve it, and I don't know, the one I recently read was the, what's it called, the Mirrorwood series, the King Fountain series, and the Mirrorwen series. I know how to mirror in it. So Mirrorwen, and the first book I wasn't super crazy about, but by the end of the second book, I was like dying to know more. Okay. Then had another question was, if your book was made into a film, who would you want cast in the leading roles? And this is actually a really interesting question because the answer is nobody. I don't want it made into a film. I think the special effects would look so bad. Think Cats, right? Because my book has feline shifters. And like, I'm looking at Cats and being like, that's bad. No. No. But animated, like in a kind of like Dragon Prince or like a realistic animate style would look so good. So like an animated mini-series like on Netflix or something, and then whoever's the best voiced actor for the role, honestly, because you never really know until you audition someone how they would go. But yeah, I would think an animated mini-series would be awesome. Like what you could do, like, I don't know if any of you have seen Into the Spider-Verse, but like just some of the animation techniques and stuff, you don't get that with real life stuff. I know that a lot of movies these days are CGI anyway, but still, it would be kind of odd if you're watching an action movie and they have poing on the stage, or, you know, not the stage, thinking plays now, across the screen like you would in a comic, but it works in a traditionally animated movie. Another question was, who inspires you most as a writer? And my go-to is always Brian Jakes. Brian Jakes was the first book I ever discovered on Amazon. I had a little bookmark and it had a really cool quote on it, and then at the bottom it said Amazon.com. And I don't know, I was like 9. We had the internet. Most people didn't, but my dad worked with computers, so we had the internet, and I was able to go on Amazon and look it up. And it had, like, well, I went to Amazon, just looked for, like, books, and this was back when Amazon was just a book company, so years and years ago. Maybe they had just started branching out into other things, but they had Brian Jakes recommended, and I guess because he had the TV show that was just coming out at that time. And I read the first chapter. I went to the library. I was like, I need to read this book. So then from then on, I've always had a love for Brian Jakes books. And my first book, Tedenbarr of Lath, is definitely inspired in the style of an adventure story, medieval world, characters who have just fun adventures, as well as like little songs and poems. Let's see. So another question was, what advice have you got for aspiring writers? And I put, the one hill I will absolutely stand on and shout at the top of is to read. It always scares me a little bit when people say they don't read. I mean, artists copy other artists when they're learning to draw. Musicians listen to music. But how can you be a writer and don't read? I guess some people don't, but for me, that just seems a little counterintuitive. Like, I don't care what it is you read, nonfiction, graphic novels, the back of a cereal box, but to get better at writing, you have to read. So that's my one advice. Make sure you're reading. There was a question about what the typical Cleotin would look like, and if you just pop onto Twitter and you search my @ and then you put book party chat, you'll find it. I have a little hand-drawn picture of Bo. You know what, I might be able to, since I have my computer right here. Let's see. Yeah. I drew that. I'm not the greatest artist, not like my brother, but that's a picture of how I would imagine Bo to look like. As drawn by me. And then I found that there's a site called Picrew where you can like create your own little characters using pre-made options like paper dolls. And here's another one of Bo. I just love like the attitude because he is a snarky guy. Snarky. And you can read more about Bo from the many misadventures of Bo. If you go on Wattpad, I have just like a little short series of backstories about Bo's perspective from the events of chapter 1 of Thorunn, and then kind of like before the events of the story, because he was affected similarly to Kenton by what happened at the beginning of the chapter, but he was in a different location, so different effects, but at the same time similar. So if you go and read the backstory of Bo, you'll get to find out him and Kenton were not actually friends at first. Bo did not like him, and how they became friends. And then, what am I working on right now? Right now, I have a YA portal fantasy about a lost princess in the works. And I thought of that idea, Gosh, I think the first time I had an idea for this was like way back in, would have to be, I think maybe I was just starting college. I kind of got this idea for this princess who, when she would fall asleep, would go into other worlds. So I'm breaking the rule of writing. Hi, Adriana. I'm breaking the rule of writing that you don't start a story with a dream, because my story is all about her going into this dream world, which we find out might not actually be a dream world, but she thinks it is in the beginning. So it's gonna be interesting. Having fun writing it right now. I didn't realize before I started writing it that Candy was gonna have, that's the name of the main character, she was gonna have anxiety, and there's gonna be all sorts of other things going on with her. But there we go. I'm a pantser. I go where the story takes me. And let's see, I think that was the end of the questions. So that's the end of my recap. And I just wanted to let everyone know that I have these really cool bookmarks, which you can get if you come to book signings once everything's open again, of course. And then I have some really cool THORUNN merch. There's a sticker for Tedenbarr Lath, and then there's stickers for THORUNN, and there's a ton of stuff on the Redbubble site that I have linked. I think I linked it in my link tree, believe so. But yeah, and hopefully I'm gonna set up a way that people can win a couple things of those. I was gonna try and do something today, but I don't know. I think if I had more people, I'd be able to have like a big pool to choose from, but not a lot of people came back from the book reading. So I'm gonna have another piece of cake here because it's just sitting here tempting me, and I would like to enjoy it. And I put my knife down. I'm gonna have to cut it with my fork. Okay, so this cake, which I'm really enjoying eating. And again, if anyone has any questions, I know we're just kind of hanging out. I'm eating cake because it's my book's birthday, and I'll eat cake if I want to. But any questions are more than welcome. It's such a good cake. Really good. All right. That was a really nice cake. So, I guess the last thing, let me see. Yeah, I guess the last thing, oh, someone asked a world building question on one of my other social medias. Let me see if I can find it. Put it in my drafts because I'm gonna answer it online later. And I'm still enjoying listening to my playlist. Oh yeah, so someone asked me, happy World Building Wednesday. Let's talk about values. Are there any values that are highly regarded in your world? Values that aren't seen as important? Any mannerisms that would be looked down on? Or something that we may find useless for them is highly important? And I would say, values are probably similar to what we have here, but it's kind of the idea that, you know, we're on a different planet, kind of like going out to the Wild West. It's kind of anything goes. So there are some people that are like, well, we're in a new place. It's THORUNN. We can kind of just be wilding out. So yeah, there are some people that just take the opportunity to kind of live out their worst vices. Whereas there are other people who are like, oh, no, we're starting over. It's a new place. We get to be even better than we were before. And the story is really about those two ideas conflicting. Because what happens when you have a person that's like, I can do anything I want, versus we have to be really good people? What happens when those two forces collide? The events of THORUNN. That's what. All right, so I just wanted to talk a little bit for my final thing here about the cosplay process, and I mentioned it a little bit before, but I had this outfit in mind for a while, Lachelle Michaels, and it just, I don't know, everything kind of shut down before I was able to go out to the store and get anything, and it was a little disappointing, but I didn't give up, and I was able to get my hands on some stuff when a couple little stores are now starting to open near where I live. Don't worry, everyone's following social distancing. Everyone has masks on. And some of the stores I went in, they were saying that you had to make sure there's only like 25 people in the store. But I was actually really fortunate to find this, and I repainted it to be this really cool color. These actually right here, I'll spill some secrets of cosplay right here. These are googly eyes. I don't know if you can hear it, but if you shake this, the googly eyes are rattling. So they're a great way to add like rivets to anything. You just hot glue gun them on. So, and then it's a static image, but it's like little glued little rhinestones on here to make it kind of look like the charge coming out. And then lots of just little layers of acrylic paint to kind of make it look like it's glowing. And spray painted this with like a hammered spray paint, so it has all these variations and it looks really, really cool. And there's that. And then for this jacket, I really wanted a lighter color jacket, but we got what we got. I took the sleeves off of one jacket, sewed them onto this jacket, dyed this with acrylic paint, so I can't ever wash it. If I wash it, everything will run out. But I dyed these with acrylic paint, and what I had left over from the jacket, I just kind of sewed on here. This is supposed to represent Lachelle Michaels' On-Ite bracelet from the book. Of course, I don't have blue hair, but I'll Photoshop my hair blue. And I wasn't cutting my hair. It takes a long time to grow, so I'm not going to go that far. Let's see, what else? Oh, yeah, so then I found some really cool camo pants, which you'll see in the pictures. And then on the back here, if you can see, let's see, right there, I've got the H sewn on for the back for the hexagon. So, managed to pull it together in time. I'm really excited. I didn't think I was honestly going to be able to find what I needed, but luckily I have a ton of paints and a ton of sewing supplies, and I was able to cut stuff up and put stuff back together to make it work. So really happy about that, and that's why I'm in cosplay today, because I love cosplay, and I'm actually cosplaying an original character instead of just like generic pirate number 3. So, well, it was great hanging out with everybody. My live stream of reading the first chapter is up on IGTV. I might put this one up too. I'll have to see. It's a little long and maybe we'll edit it because I'm just hanging out with you guys. Again, showing you guys this cool map. It's like supposed to be like an overlay, like a computer overlay that you'd see. I did draw the map, by the way. My drawing skills do extend that far. And there's a glossary in the back with definitions of things. I did do some pronunciations on the first video. And again, these really cool bookmarks that I'll be trying to hand out at book signing events. And then if you really want a piece of THORUNN merch, you can go to the NEXT-GXN Redbubble store, which is linked in several different places. And, well, I say NEXT-GXN, but it's NEXT-GXN. NEXT-GXN Redbubble store, which has like tons of stuff. Mugs, hoodies, t-shirts, clocks. What else did I see? Throw pillows. I think throw pillows, like blankets, just anything. Not anything, but a lot of really cool stuff you can get with it. There's like 3 different designs for THORUNN. There's this one, and then there's just like the title, THORUNN. So that looks pretty cool. I'll be working with my cover artist to put that all together. Alright, well, you can always feel free to hit me up anytime on Twitter or Instagram, or I'm pretty active over at Tumblr as well. My handle is the same across all those places. I'm trying to get my YouTube channel going. I know right now it's been really focused on content for THORUNN, but I'm also going to do other writing related things, how to do stuff, like I did one on how to get your iPhone to read out loud to you, because I just don't have time to be reading books all the time, but if I can get it to read it to me, then I can do 2 things at once. So trying to do that. And let's see, I also put some videos up about books I'm reading, and I did one about one I read last month that I enjoyed a lot. So YouTube channel, you can subscribe to that if you want to. And then like I said, pretty much anywhere else in the main social media, I guess we can call them the big 3. I'm ETJ Writes, and then my website is etjwrites.com, just keeping everything simple. Got a bunch of little extra cool stuff there, some quizzes. For Tedenbarr Pav Lath, I do have, which is 99 cents all day today, I do have some like puzzles and word searches to go along with that. And I just realized I'm saying a lot. I'm a writer. I should be able to compose my sentences without stopping so often and thinking of words. But for Tedenbarr 5 Lath, I got some fun extra stuff. Let me think. Is there anything else that you guys should know about? I think that's it. So just keep your eyes open. Like I said, hit me up anytime in any of my social medias. I'm always down to talk about books, cosplay, sometimes Marvel, because I love Marvel too. But I do try to keep it writing focused, and music, because like I said, I'm a musician first, a writer second, but those two hobbies do overlap. So one can inspire the other sometimes. All right, well, thank you for everyone who joined both earlier and today. I know it's kind of like a couple people jumped on and off and on and off. And then to everyone who joined in the book party chat. And I will definitely, like I said, be having a in-person launch party when it is safe to do so. And I can't wait to see all you guys there. All right. I will see you guys another day. ETJ out.